Hey, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Live streaming?
I mean, on YouTube and everything?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've got to click.
Now you're on.
Now I am. So we're just naturally. That's awesome. Well, we're live.
It works.
Sometimes I don't actually have to click go live over on the YouTube side. So welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday night. It is 9 o'clock. We may be off by about 5 minutes, but that's pretty good for us. So welcome to the Get Off My Lawn podcast. We've done a couple of these, and we are, for the second week in a row, working off of guntube.org, the GunTube chamber. If you've not yet been to guntube.org, you need to check that place out. It is it's owned and operated by our friend Nightstrike, and he developed an entire server and a place to host videos that you cannot get kicked off of. As long as there's nothing X-rated, you can't get kicked off of it. Gun videos, disassembly videos, reassembly videos, shooting videos, anything like that are welcome on guntube.org. So yeah, we figured it out. It took me way less time this week than it did last week to figure out how to make it run. And you may notice we have got an extra face showing up here on our chat that we don't normally get to see. So we will introduce our guests here real quick. First and foremost, I'll introduce the guy that he's no stranger to these chats. He is holding it down across the other side of the state of Nebraska here from me. And Travis P11, we'll let you say hi real quick.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Make sure you check out my channel, Travis P11, over on YouTube. And thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Glad to be part of this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks for being here. And then this man needs no introduction, but we're going to go ahead and introduce him anyway. So if you have ever heard of a show on History Channel called Top Shot, and if you love that show as much as I have, then you've probably seen this face quite a bit. We've got Mr. Dustin Ellermann. Dustin was on the third season of Top Shot, and you did pretty well for yourself, it looked like.
It worked out well.
Dustin actually won the competition that year. So welcome, Dustin. Thanks for taking some time and joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. So real quick, if you just want to tell everybody, there may be a few people that never got to see Top Shot and don't know what that's all about. So if you want to just kind of real quick introduce yourself as you would normally introduce yourself to, just about anybody. We'll give you a few minutes just to kind of bring everybody up to speed on who you are.
Normal introduction. I guess it depends on which hat I'm wearing that day, because I got a lot of things going on. But I guess my primary day job is I work and live at a summer Christian kids camp. And so that was just where I came from before I was thrown into the gun industry. And, Top Shot, it heard some of the other guys joke, is like, it's not a drinking show. But, with shooting competition, reality-based TV show, I just went to play with somebody else's guns and ammo for free and ended up winning the thing. And, then a lot of other opportunities came. So, just staying busy and having fun.
That's awesome. That is cool. All right. So we actually went through and we asked a few people for some questions for you. And kind of what's going to happen here. Well, I've got a few questions written down that I want to ask you. And then we're going to also just let people out in the chat ask some questions as well. So those of you out on YouTube, if you have any questions for Dustin, go ahead and put those in the chat. And if you want to tag either Travis or myself, we'll make sure that we see those. If you don't know how to tag us, you put the @ symbol in front of our name and then spell our name directly as it appears out there in the chat. So real quick, before we get into questions, I do want to welcome everybody on the YouTube side that's joined us. So first and foremost is my hot date for life, my co-pilot here in the studio, Sandhills Sweetheart, is in the chat. And She's just off my left shoulder where you don't get to see her. We've got Mr. Boob Sweat out there. We've got yeah, I know. Gun Loving Grandpa. Blitz is out there. We've got Jay Brown. Who else do we have out there in the chat? Seven Wonders. New York Outcast. Ozzy Osbourne's in the house. Not the singer guy, the holster guy. And General Relativity. So hello, everybody so far that's joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, please drop a comment in the chat so we get a chance to see you and say hi, because my wife always compiles a list. And I get to thank everybody for coming by later. So make sure you let us know what's going on. Also, before I forget this, I am going to drop a PayPal link in the chat, and this is not Dustin's PayPal link, it is mine. However, if anybody, I can't talk and type at the same time. If anybody wants to donate any money to Camp His Way or the marksmanship camp that Dustin hosts and works at, you can drop that into PayPal. I would say super chat, but the problem is we get so few super chats and so little ad revenue that super chats won't actually get paid back out until probably sometime after the first of the year. And I don't want to wait that long. So anybody that wants to give any money toward any of Dustin's ministries, please use the PayPal link that I dropped out there in the chat, paypal.me/SandhillsShooter, and just comment in there that it is for Dustin or for Top Shot or for Camp His Way, anything like that. And I will make sure that all of those funds get sent down to Texas and Dustin gets to use those however he sees fit for his ministry. So
thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. All righty. And real quick here, the first question I had was from the Facebook side. Matt out there, a friend of mine, wanted to know, and I almost had that pulled up. I've got it on my phone. I knew I had it somewhere. All right. So 2 questions, actually. We'll take this. I'm going to ask them both, and then you can kind of split them up and answer them the best way that you see fit there. The first thing he said or asks is, at what age is a good age to introduce your kids to gun safety? Mm-hmm. And then when would you introduce them to the great sport of shooting?
Gotcha. Well, shoot, gun safety starts as soon as they start moving around and touching things. Hey, we don't touch that yet. And it's just a constant, reiteration. And you guys know it's, you got to take the curiosity part out of it. And there's a right time to do it and a wrong. I mean, my girls are around me just today. And they're, I'm cleaning some rifles and they're like, can I touch the green one? And they're talking about my reloading press. And so they always ask, I make sure, what's on there around it is like, yeah, you can pull the lever. So nothing happens, but, it's just the part of the same thing of course, they know not to touch the guns, but we just take it a little further and don't mess up my stuff. That's a good reason why. But so as soon as they can start touching and talking, it's that shooting is, there is no magical age because every kid's different. And so you got to use your own wisdom and judgment there. My 7-year-old now has only gone out to the range like twice. She loves it, but she just hadn't asked much. And, but she was a natural. She hit was it a golf ball or a dum-dum at 50 yards, open sight rascal. I was floored, but at the same time, she didn't call which one she was shooting. So it's not an official. It's like, were you really going for anyway? My 5-year-old hasn't started yet, but my other 2 boys probably did start around 5 with you start baby steps, a pellet rifle first to make sure they get some good fundamentals down. And then I just love those starting. We have 6 of the Savage Rascals we use at marksman camp. And when you suppress something like that, it sure makes it unintimidating. But I remember when Gideon's almost 11 now, first time I took him to the range, he didn't really care about shooting as much as he liked running the bolt. And so I got to shoot and he ran the little Savage bolt for me. He just loved the mechanics of it. And so they each got their own little, interest or not, but it's your own judgment and wisdom as and when they're ready.
See, Sandhills and I do that when we deer hunt. He usually, he'll manipulate the bolt. I'm like just sitting there holding the gun and he's like, he's not only a spotter, but he's also the bolt operator. So yeah. No, I'm just messing with you.
There's a second stream, so everybody's saying.
Yeah, I've been told there's a second stream on YouTube, and I don't know how I got 2 streams.
Oh, cool.
But that could be why I didn't get the go live button on this one. So give me just a second.
Never cross the streams.
Never cross the streams. Now, I do have another question here. This one comes from my wife, actually. And she wanted me to ask you, Dustin, what is the best thing and also the worst thing that has come from being on TV? So I'll give you a chance to answer those while I investigate this stream thing going on because, good old live entertainment here. We don't ever know what the heck we're doing.
Gotcha. So the best thing that's happened, I guess I'm kind of living with my childhood dream of being thrown in the gun industry and being able to I remember someone giving me a pile of the old American Rifleman magazines when I was a young teenager. And I was just like, man, how cool would it be to be able to get the new cool guns first and play with them. And so, yeah, that's come about now. And so, childhood dream there of playing with the new toys all the time. And the worst thing about it, I guess, sometimes, well, I guess it's a good and bad thing where locally, especially, I can't go anywhere without somebody recognizing me. And that's a cool part. But then at other times, it's like, I just want to go buy bread and go home.
Well, and that makes some sense too. Okay, so I think what we need to do here is, I think I see what happened. I tried to build 2 chats, and they're both live right now. So how the heck do I stop one of them? That I don't know.
If you go into your YouTube Studio Beta, and then
That's where I am.
Like lives, are both of those episodes listed?
Yeah, but it won't let me delete them now. So,
well, let's just go with it. Who cares? You can always delete that episode.
Whatever.
Later
I made one of them private, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, right. The only thing is, I'm worried that we don't have the right. I'm worried that we don't have all the comments and stuff coming in. Is the only thing. So
10X Shooter said he was on the wrong stream. He got kicked off.
Okay. Well, good. Hopefully everybody comes over. I did change that other one to private, so maybe. See, we're learning things as we go here. This is great. I'm never going to get another guest on this thing, but that's okay.
This never happens.
Yep, I just made one private. So those of you who got kicked off the other stream, that is a learning experience for yours truly. So welcome everyone who wasn't here before, and now you can all chat in the same chat. So now at least I get to see what's going on out there. Hey, my buddy John Z's in the house. So, all right, cool. Patriots out there, 10X Shooters, Dangerous Freedom. We got some people joining us. Okay, cool. We're back on track, kids. All right. I'm kind of curious too. This is kind of similar, maybe, but still completely different in my mind, Dustin. One of the things that I don't know that I struggle with it, but one of the concerns that I have, even though our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, they're very, very tiny. We don't get a lot of exposure, and I have yet to be, recognized or anything like that. But but I want to, and see, that's the thing. I've really got to guard myself between chasing after some fame and trying to keep not really keep grounded. That's not an issue yet, but I want to have those experiences. And I know everybody says that until it happens. And then, like you said, you just want to go to the store. But what do you do? Maybe this isn't an issue for you that much, but especially where everything that you do, even the things that are gun related, you don't do them for you. You try to do them for your ministry and try to use even the fame that you've gained. You try to let God use that for the things that He wants, not so much the things that Dustin wants. And how do you kind of keep that separate and keep your head in the right mindset? I guess that's the question I have for you. Or is that maybe not an issue for you like it is for me? I want people to like me, and that's kind of the thing that I chase.
Yeah. Well, I have that people pleasing, mentality too. I guess when you said, the things that you chase, it reminded me. My all-time favorite verse, just like for forever, was Psalms 37:4. It's delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. And so, before Top Shot, I'm trying to think how long I'd been doing stuff at camp. At least 10, 15 years, if you go all the way back to me starting here as a teenager. I just always saw I had these dreams as a kid with stuff in anything doing it gun related, being in the military or FBI law, some sort of bigger law enforcement, or like I said earlier, gun writer, stuff like that. But I knew that's not really what God had for me. And, the ministry here at the camp was what I should do. And so I delighted in doing that. And the thing with that verse, though, it's a two-part verse. When you're delighting yourself in the Lord, okay, well, your desires are what He wants for you. And so when He gives you the desires of your heart, well, when you're delighting in serving Him, then He gives you the desires, but it aligns with His desires too. And so the funny thing was just, right after Top Shot, I had opportunities out to Wazoo and still do where, it was like I went and shot with the FBI out in Alexandria for a day. I had an open invite to go train with the HRT crew. Out in Florida, one of the guys that runs the military Air Force base, standing invite to go on Halo jump with the Special Forces guys.
Oh, wow.
Then helicopter hog hunting, thermal hog hunting, all the SHOT Show stuff. It just, I'm a shooting editor for Texas Fish and Game now too. And so it was kind of like God just giving everything, all my childhood desires, is just like, hey, here you go. But it didn't mean as much anymore. It didn't. I was happy with what I already did. The producers on Top Shot saw what was going on while on the show, and that I was doing good. And I was just like, well, anything could happen in the last episode and whatnot. But there's like, this is going to change your life. This thing can change. I was like, no, it's not. I finished this. I go back to camp and do my camp thing. But they were right. And so.
Did you get kind of maybe a little bit of a glimpse at what it felt like to be David, just a little bit? When, you're up against all these different Goliaths, right, in the shooting industry. And I mean, I don't. Obviously, this is the first time that you and I have ever actually interacted like this. So I don't know you that well, but you don't strike me as somebody that thinks that he's all that. And so that's kind of what I've always kind of thought when I saw you on the show, is that that's got to kind of be a little bit like how it felt to go up against a giant, and then know that clearly you were meant to win the competition. You were meant to be put in the position that you're in now. And I don't make this so much my chats usually don't focus a whole lot on faith or religion, but I don't make a secret that we're Christians in our house. So clearly God wanted you to be where you are. And, I think that you're not fully yourself, and you don't think that you did all that on your own either. So I've kind of, just always in my mind pictured you thinking, gosh, that's got to be what that feels like to, all I've got is just, my skills that I pretty much taught myself, and the blessing of God to go and do well and spread His word. So
I never really thought of it as a David thing, but I sure knew God's hand was in it.
Yeah.
You just look at the cast. Like, you got ex-Navy SEALs, military guys of all branches, cool. Federal firearms instructors, and competition shooters, and a Christian camp guy. Like, what?
Yeah, that's cool. That was very cool. And after seeing the first two seasons of the show, and then seeing the third season, and watching that and seeing this kid. I mean, I'm older than you are. Seeing this kid come through. That Christian camp. Oh, are you there? Am I there?
It's just fuzzing out, but I hear you well.
There we go. Okay, so So just seeing you come through, you kind of were a breath of fresh air. I thought anyway, to compared to some of the people that had been in military service or law enforcement, or had been professional shooters, things like that. What I've always kind of appreciated is the all around marksman, which you proved that you are kind of this type of person, but you don't focus on just any one aspect, and you're not the master of any shooting aspect, but at the same time, you're just, you've studied marksmanship on a lot of different weapon platforms, it sounds like most of your life. And so you just got good, right? I mean,
well, studying it sounds a little more serious than I've ever thought of it as.
Just having fun.
Yeah, I'm just a big kid that is still
right.
like having fun. I've had people tell me all my life, you'll grow out of liking the shooting thing. Joke's on them.
Oh, Lord. I hope that never happens to me.
And so I guess that's what made it so much fun with Marksman Camp. We have dedicated, sessions where we're just shooting, and what I tell them is it's the truth. I just set up everything I wanted to do, and they get to come play. I wanted to go down our zip line shooting, and so that's our night activity. We give them a paintball gun with a light and laser on it. We set up a bunch of targets downrange, and they just have a 100-yard run where they just shoot while they fly.
Is there an age limit on this camp, by the way?
Our ticket to get in is bring a kid. That's
there you go.
I'll take you, Sandhills.
Okay.
You're just a year or two below me, I think.
Thanks. Thanks.
He's working the boat.
No problem, son. Hey, did you see that? We have a super chat from Blitz and the Patriot in the Dark left a question too.
Yep, I did actually see that.
Cool.
Blitz, thank you very much for the super chat, $5 super chat. I did say this, I think, before a lot of people were in the chat. So if you would like to donate some money, please go to paypal.me/SandhillsShooter. That $5 for the super chat is amazing, and we will forward that on, but we're not going to get that from Google for quite some time. The PayPal money, I can turn around and send that right down to Dustin immediately. So we will, anything from the rest of the week or if you're watching this on replay, if it's a couple years later and you want to hit us on paypal.me, just put in the comments that you want it to go to Marksmanship Camp or Top Shot, Dustin Ellermann, Camp His Way, any of those things. We'll make sure that Dustin gets them as they come in. But we do appreciate the super chat. So the question that Blitz had out there, what do you do or what do you use to center yourself when you've got some high pressure shots coming up or you're in a high pressure situation? How do you calm yourself down? What technique do you use? I think is what he wants to know.
Well, prayer was the main one on Top Shot. I remember that. Because I remember some of the times that just even what I was praying, like at that 50 BMG shot, we're shooting at 500 yards, moving target with 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And, I remember just praying, you know what, God, it's been 9 episodes. That's nice. If you're done with me, I'm content. You're pretty much resigned, but if you're not, I'm going to need a little help. And I could see a bigger purpose in what I was doing at that time. And so it was just like, the scripture says, cast your burdens on him because he cares for you. Okay, I don't have to carry this. God, if you want me to do good, you do it. And so sometimes I don't know what I'm doing when I'm in the moment, now competition or just shooting and whatnot. But when I go back and watch stuff, it's on video and whatnot, I can't remember what I was doing. I don't know. Cameras are rolling a lot around here, though, whether it be marksman camp, parents or whatever. But I just know as soon as I get up and draw, I just excel. You just hear that exhale of breath go out, and I don't know. That's just kind of my thing. Where it almost annoys me when I see it on camera because it's loud, but that's just how I settle in.
Whatever works, just keep doing it as long as it's working. That's cool. Another viewer out there, Patriot in the Dark, who has his own disability. Patriot is a Marine who, after he got out of the service, ended up losing his vision. So Patriot is completely
Yeah.
blind now. He wants to know at the camp, do you support kids with disabilities, and what types of disabilities can you accommodate at the camp? The reason, let me preface this: Patriot is a licensed concealed carrier still. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to know how that works because that's just it. I haven't had much experience with it. I mean, I'm willing to help, however, but
I didn't know if you had any kids coming through that had either physical disabilities or any mental disabilities, and if you have times that you host kids like that, so that are they're facing some challenges compared to what most of us face when it comes to shooting.
I'm trying to remember. We had mild or moderate autistic, I think it is, this past weekend. And, it's just a little more hands-on and just focus, and everybody does good. So yeah, we'll do whatever we can as long as everybody's safe.
That's awesome. Dangerous Freedom out there wants to know, how much time do you spend dry fire practicing?
Well, not as much as I recommend, because you get busy. I've just been really busy lately, and so I do have a CERT training pistol, and I love those things. Mantis, they make that little Mantis X is a really cool device to work with as well. That's just dry fire, hybrid, but I do recommend it a lot, and I know just my own personal students that have come through, I told them, hey, before you waste a box of ammo, do 50 rounds at the range. And they're like, oh my gosh, dude, I shoot so much better now. So if I'm doing a competition, shoot 80% of my practice will be dry fire, just getting ready for it. And it's a lot easier and cheaper.
Cool. Do you, we don't have any kids running around in our house, so it's different for us. I mean, we can leave loaded pistols lying around on the coffee table or whatever around here, and totally safe for us. Until the cats learn how to work, get opposable thumbs and learn how to work a slide, we're good. But do you find it harder when you have kids in the house, especially kids at a young, curious age, like when it comes to dry fire training? Is that something that you choose to do away from, curious fingers and things like that, or how do you handle that at your house?
Well, it's not done like in the living room while everybody's around. That's for sure.
That's where I do it. That's why I'm asking.
I thought about it the other day. We're watching a long movie. I'm like, man, I wish I could dry fire a little right now, but it doesn't seem appropriate. It's just not as well at the camp though. Sometimes when I used to be shooting 3-gun more and whatnot, when the off season, and it's just like 2 or 3 people on the whole property. I'll unload my carry gun and just dry fire practice as I walk from my house to the office or something like that. And learned a lot, just the whole point shooting exercise and whatnot. But that's because I'm in a lot of freedom in a rural area. I can do that. But heck, I guess if you're in your house, you can do the same thing. My house just has little people running around in it. You get to one of my favorite exercises. I switch carry guns frequently when I'm doing reviews, and I really want to review them. I want to get them dirty and see how they feel and all that stuff. And doing where pick a spot on a tree, because that's there's pine trees all around us, and so pick a spot. Start your drawing presentation, close the eyes and open, and see where your natural point of aim is correct, and then just keep going that way.
I think we've all seen what happens when you aim at a tree around your place.
They're just everywhere.
And that actually, I was going to ask you, do you have like a mileage charge for Top Shot Tree Service? Like if I wanted to get a tree taken out of my yard, and what's the rate to come up to Nebraska?
It's getting pretty steep at that point. Ammo charge. It can get a little pricey.
Patriot out there wants me to ask you about axes and fighting shovels, and I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I either missed a comment or something. I'm not sure what he wants me to ask you about them, but
I get it.
Have you? Okay, cool. Go ahead and answer then.
He's referring to something that really follows me then. We throw about everything you can at marksman camp and summer camp, and so we use the Cold Steel Norse Tomahawk, and we use the Special Forces throwing shovel. What I can tell you about, I mean, the Cold Steel Norse Hawk, we really like that and prefer it. It's got a wide blade. We take that stupid 3mm set screw out and just throw it away. Put the head in a vise, beat the mess out of the handle till it's just flush across the top, because they'll just slide down without it. We cut the handles down to 18 inches, and then that's what we use for throwing, because they're lightweight, well balanced, good and sharp. The handles hold up well. They're American hickory handles, and we never double throw those. So if a hawk sticks in a target, that's all you do. You got to fetch it before you throw it. The shovels are a cool tool. They're nice and sharp. They are a little forgiving on distance, because here's my phone then. A tomahawk, you're only going to stick like this. A shovel, you can stick here, here, or here. And so rotation, it'll over-rotate and under-rotate, and you could still get a stick out of it. The problem with the shovels is the release. They like to stick in your hand with that ball at the end, as well as you got to lock your wrist. But those handles don't hold up as well. They're not like the hawk handles. I love carrying them in a vehicle, though, because you can dig and chop, and the shovels are sharp.
Cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. Travis, did you have something you wanted to jump in there? And
Oh, I got to take a quick phone call, so I'm going to let you know. I'll be right back in a minute.
oh, okay, cool.
All right, man. Cool.
All right,
I'll stay out
we'll
here.
move right along. Out here in the chat, I missed it. Midnight Range TM would like to get your thoughts on this. At GRPC, one of the speakers talked about the concept of allowing betting on shooting sports, which would bring a lot of attention. Could be a big promotion to professional shooting. What are your thoughts on the idea of allowing betting on shooting sports?
That's new to me. It's like,
I don't know. We're going to put you on the spot here a couple times tonight.
It sounds kind of cool. I wonder if anyone was betting on me or Top Shot, or just how many people were betting against me. That may hurt my feelings. But
best not to know, right?
Yeah. I don't know. If it's legal and it's moral, go for it. Go for it.
There we go. All righty. What other questions do we have? I think we've pretty well covered. Oh, I've got a big one for you. We're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. And I'm going to put you on the spot. For those of you who are watching or listening, I have not warned Dustin about any of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So he was gracious enough just
might
to come
have some connection issues here in a second.
Uh-oh. We'll see if you start to fuzz out here a little bit. No, this is probably something that has happened to you. I'm just going to venture a guess that maybe it has. So if it's happened to you, great. If it's never happened to you, then it's a what would you? What would you or what do you say to somebody when they want to know how you reconcile being a Christian and still being pro-gun? Because there are a lot of people out there that think they are mutually exclusive.
Yeah. First, it's like, how do you not? So I guess there's you're just coming from stereotypes or something, and it not really biblically based at times. And so you can go through a lot in the Bible where it talks about self-defense, and even Jesus himself said, get a sword. You don't need your jacket, just get a sword. And he wasn't talking about cutting bread. And not being a doormat, but the same, I guess where I struggle with it the most is as the founding fathers, and you're talking about going to war, against your own country in a revolution. It's like that's where the line gets hazy for me. But for self-defense and whatnot, it's a no-brainer that you don't just, let evil triumph.
Well, and that's pretty much how I feel too. But then again, there are a ton of people that don't see the world the same way that maybe you and I do, or that most of us that are probably listening to this right now see the world. So, what are you seeing, just in your, I don't know, daily circles or the things that you do, with any of the fun stuff you get to do, or appearances or anything like that? What are you seeing as far as like just kind of general general mentality out there. You get to travel a lot more of the country than I do. So as far as pro-gun, anti-gun, if you listen to one news station, then, the world's about to implode and we're all going to shoot each other. And if you listen to the other station, we're all about to lose our rights and we're going to become, Stalin's Russia. And I know that the truth is somewhere in the middle, but as far as, kind of maybe having your finger on the pulse of, different parts of the country a little bit, what do you think? What's it look like as far as our future as gun owners in America?
Well, I think you're right where you said it seems just somewhere in the middle. But I guess in my circles where I'm going, it's always just good, constitutional loving Americans everywhere I hang out with. But that's just, those are the type of people that invite me places. So,
True.
But so it is encouraging just seeing, great folks everywhere.
So, and that's cool. I mean, I look at the stuff that's just happened recently, out in California with the laws that just got signed into law there. And I know there are a ton of people. Some of them, I don't think I've seen them out in the chat, but one of our friends who's in our panel quite often lives out in California, and people ask him all the time, why don't you get out of there? It's you're fighting a losing battle, and I think he's got the right mentality. He always says, if I don't stay and try and educate people and try to fight for our rights, who's going to do it if we all leave? California is not necessarily a lost cause the way that I think a lot of people think. And our country's not a lost cause the way that a lot of people, spread the doom and gloom. So it's nice to hear that there are a lot of like-minded individuals, all across the country. We just need to figure out a way to get all of us together, all of us on the same page, and let the rest of us know that we are all here. I mean, I think a lot of people maybe feel like we do and don't know what to do about it, or don't know how to go about finding other people. Maybe they live in an area where it's not cool. It's not maybe not even necessarily wise to speak out and be counted among the pro-gun people. So I think if more people realize that there are so many of us and we all kind of feel the same way, I think that would go a long ways to maybe, help and spread some pro Second Amendment cheer, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest battle is just the media trying to portray and sell their own agenda, and that's what everybody sees, hears, and repeats. And if we really had a well-rounded picture, it would look a lot better.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of us, like I said, I don't get to travel very far very often, and so to be able to have conversations with people who do actually go to different parts of the country, it's always nice just to be able to, I guess, kind of reaffirm what I think or what I hope is the case, that we're not just an island out here in the middle of the country. I mean,
yeah,
we've got patriots everywhere. And when I say patriots, I'm not talking about people that are praying for the boogaloo. I'm talking about people that are going to do everything that we can to avoid it ever going that far, without at the same time without laying down and rolling over, giving up our rights. So. Any out in the chat? I'm not really seeing any other questions for Dustin. We've got a couple questions that have been floating around the cruise here on gunchannels.com. If Dustin, I don't know if you've ever been to gunchannels.com. Anybody that's watching this, if you've never been to gunchannels.com, you need to go check that place out. It's free to join, and we've all kind of started calling it the water cooler of the 2A community. There's a 24-hour just a lobby chat going on there. You can actually post things to the main page, just kind of like on Facebook or something like that. But you get to see everybody's posts there as they come through. What's cool is it doesn't matter what you like, whether you're into competition shooting, hunting, collecting, antiques, revolvers, black powder, smokeless powder, whatever you're into, whatever kind of gun you like, whatever kind of sport you are into with guns, whatever kind of hunting you like to do, there's somebody else out there that likes the things that you do, and you can find people to talk to. Gun Channels is just a cool place that we can bring everybody together. Started here, what's it been, 5 or 6 years ago now, by we call him the Godfather or the Gun Father, gun websites. But G-Web started that up again as just a place to kind of bring everybody together. And most everybody that's out here in the chat, we know each other from our own live chats, being out there. I see Ghost Tactical out there in the chat, and he does a weekly podcast too at 7:00 Central Time every Tuesday night, which I was listening to for a while. And that was a good one tonight. So go check out Ghost Tactical and see what's up with this week's chat with. I believe it was Hold My Guns, I think was the organization that Ghost had on. Patriot would like to know the basic rates for camp and how long people stay there, if it's a week or a weekend or whatever.
Yeah, it depends on if you're talking summer camp, which is more of the church camp thing, but probably talking the marksman camps. So marksman camp is $270 per participant. We can only do 12 participants at a time, so those spots can fill quickly. And so parents can join in, and pay another participant fee, or they can just come and guest spectate, be their kids photographer and cheering section for no extra charge there. And it is Saturday starts at lunch. We'll feed you and house you, and we have all the ammo and guns and equipment. You pretty much just show up, bring some bedding, and you're good to go. And then we go through Sunday afternoon. And we pack it in like we do at summer camp. Summer camp, we don't have any real free time. It's just we just go from one activity to the next. And so we just keep that same format. We'll start at archery and just end up at the range on Saturday, do the night zip line, and then Sunday morning we're at the range all morning to lunch, and then we do an afternoon gauntlet challenge, taken straight off the Top Shot, where we have two. We'll have 2 stations, and I think it was 15 stations that we go through. Starting, you got to pop a balloon with an arrow, and then a blowgun, and then you stick a tomahawk and a shovel and a knife, and on and on and on.
That sounds awesome. Now I kind of want to go check that out. So if anybody has kids that we can maybe borrow for a weekend and take them to marksmanship camp, I kind of want to see what this looks like. So I'm willing to be your kid's photographer if we can get together and make it down there.
And I do have a question. Since Texas is such a small state, where approximately in the state are you guys located? So people are kind of curious.
Deep east is our region.
So we're talking Dallas-Fort Worth area, or are we talking closer over by Louisiana border, or where are you guys at?
Closer to Louisiana, so right between Beaumont and Tyler.
Oh, okay. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, we make a big deal when somebody comes from out of state. We have people that fly in almost every camp, and so someone's from like Mississippi and stuff. Oh wow, that's cool. Someone comes in from El Paso. We're like, oh wow, you drove 16 hours.
Yeah, you might want to just fly out of the state. You probably want to fly because I've got family down in Texas, so I was just kind of curious. I didn't know. So
well, I knew Texas was big, but I never thought about it much until last spring, a little over, about a year and a half ago now. Travis and I drove down to Tulsa and met up with a bunch of other people from gun channels. Most of us have YouTube channels of our own, and we all went to the Wanamaker Gun Show over there. And one of our friends, Matt from Never Enough Ammo, lives in Brownsville, and I realized that he actually drove farther and crossed one state line than Travis and I drove through, half of Nebraska, all of Kansas, half of Oklahoma, just to get to Tulsa. And Matt crossed one, he crossed the Red River, but he still drove half again farther than we did just to get there. So yeah, I knew Texas was big, but I never paid much attention until I realized that
Texas is far from.
You must have your own little airline shuttle service to take you from one part of the state to the other. It's,
yeah, exactly. Okay, out there in the chat, Blitz would like to know and you maybe kind of touched on this here a while ago, but we might not have had everybody in the chat yet. So how did it feel being on a popular show and then dealing with the influx of offers? So I don't know what kind of offers you've gotten, but I'm guessing that people want you to try their stuff all the time now.
Well, when he brings up offer, it makes me think right after Top Shot, and I actually had a guy from my church who was a manager for some Christian music artists and stuff. He acted as my manager for the first few months, so that helped a lot, and it was a good filter. But he shared with me some of the ones that just to show me that he was doing his job. Someone in Colorado wanted me to move out there and teach their ranch, all firearms training and stuff, like as a job, offering over $100,000 a year to do that and stuff. But went to their website and checked them out, and it got some weird stuff like the studies of unicorns as a breed, and they were trying to bring them back in to existence, and studies of horses on this planet and others. I'm like, okay, we got a little kooky here.
Wow.
That sounds like an E Honda topic there, Sandhills. That's
yeah. I didn't realize that other than Narnia, that unicorns actually ever did exist, and we needed to bring them back.
I mean, they're all over My Little Pony, but I've never seen one in real life.
It's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. I know some people don't live in the little place that we like to call reality. So
that part's just humorous, but I'm not that big a deal. I don't have to deal with that much.
That's what I keep saying too. But it is nice being able to have somebody who, for our little channel, Dustin, you just as well be, Jerry Michalek. I mean, it's cool to have somebody that actually people recognize. It's nice to have you take some time to hang out with us. And I know that, maybe you don't think you're all that big of a deal, but I know you're busy. So we just appreciate the time that you carved out for us to join us on the show tonight. So, my pleasure. Yeah, and we're not going to take up a whole lot more of Dustin's time tonight. I don't want this to go into a 2-hour-long chat, as cool as that would be. But if anybody else has any questions that they want to throw out there, go ahead and throw those questions out in the chat, and we'll just start kind of working on wrapping things up a little bit. But I started to say we've got a couple things that the Gun Channels crowd, we like to chide each other and rib each other quite a bit, and we've had some discussions on other live chats that sometimes actually get kind of heated. It's sometimes they get almost as bad as the Colt versus Glock debate, or the 9mm versus 40 or whatever. So a couple questions for you. We'll start with the small one first. Sprinkles on donuts, yes or no?
Yeah, gosh, it's a lot of. It's taking way too much thought for something so simple.
Well, let me fill you in. Sprinkles are actually little sugary ants. Okay, I just looked it up right now.
Oh, I could tell. I have an ant story.
And you guys have fire ants down there, so I know you don't like ants. I mean, so therefore, sprinkles are just.
Camp is blessed. We only have sugar ants, but we have them in abundance. And so they don't. We tell the kids they're just tickle ants. They don't really bite, but they'll get all over you. And so I've seen them attack fire ants and stuff. Whoa. But one night. Yeah. So we don't have fire ants at camp because we've had fire ants like hatch out of the ground, and sugar ants attack and kill. And so we have none. But one day we were doing helping with a ministry called Power Team. And they go and so we were their setup crew, and we were just doggone tired and hungry. There was a leftover Little Caesars pizza in the van. Well, when you park any vehicle at camp, the ants move in. And the ants will stay in your vehicles, and it's really bad if they ever make a nest in your air conditioning vents, and they'll blow out in your face and stuff, and eggs and all. At least they don't bite, right? And so we get hungry. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and we're like, oh, there's that pizza in the van. We're eating that pizza in the van. Like 3 or 4 of us, we can get in the van, turn the lights on, open up pizza covered with sugar ants, just completely. But they kind of melted into the cheese, and so we're so hungry, we're just like, turn the lights off. Give me a slice. We ate
Pure
the whole
protein,
thing.
man. Pure protein. See, I think
Pure
Sugar
protein.
Ant eat the sprinkles. That's why you guys want to actually have sprinkles down there. So
Yeah. So I guess I can do sprinkles or no sprinkles. It's all good.
Okay, well, okay. That brings us to the big question now. And this one has actually, I think, cost a couple friendships. So I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Take all the time you need. Take all the time you need to answer this one.
Saw how long I took just on sprinkles. So
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
a sandwich?
oh god, here we go.
I guess
Hot dog in a bun. Would you consider that a sandwich? And this you think before you answer this question because it has cost marriages. So
man, I try my hardest to have the camp cook at least get real links instead of hot dogs, and then I don't care what you call it because at least it's more of a food.
There's more meat than nitrate.
Yeah. I guess I'm more concerned if a hot dog is actually a meat than a sandwich.
well, when you
You
think
know
about
what?
it,
We're gonna go with
bologna
that
and
answer.
hot dogs on some level share the same ingredients. So
That's
you
right.
know,
And
I say it. I personally say it is, but it's just because when people say, "Well, yeah, but the bun isn't split." Well, not every sandwich has the bun attached either, or does have the bun attached. So you know,
if the bun was sideways instead of vertical, I'd think it'd be more like a sandwich. But being that, it's kind of up, and the hot dog lays in between, it's hard. I've never thought of it as a sandwich.
All right. We'll let you just go with that. We won't put you too far on the spot there. All right. So
I guess I've got a question I got to ask here. You fired all these fancy guns. The High Point E cannon, yes or no?
I have not. Gosh, the only high point I've ever fired, right after I shot it, or it blew up in my friend's hand. So his finger was off. Yeah, his finger was off the trigger because it malfunctioned. You look over and say, "Well, what's your issue?" And he's like, "It didn't go into boom," and it blew in pieces.
Oh wow!
And so High Point replaced it for free, and then he promptly sold it to get something else.
Was it a High Point or was it a Jimenez? I guess that's the question. It wasn't Jimenez Arms, Jade. It was a High Point.
It was a high point.
It was a High Point. Okay. I guess I've never heard of them blowing up, but anything's possible.
It could have been an ammo issue. He said, he had a small house fire, and the ammo was in the house, and so overheated. It was a weird one. It was a weird one. So
all right.
I haven't told you it can.
So I've got a couple other questions that we'll end with a couple fun things here for things that you actually will know answers to that you've probably thought about. When it comes to whether it's Top Shot or before or since, what's the firearm that you have had the most fun being able to fire?
Gotcha. Man. Okay, so before Top Shot, my firearms experience was pretty limited to my limited budget. Being on Top Shot, I was like, oh wow! Like the first thing we shot after the Smith & Wesson 500 was the LaRue OBR, and that and the Volkortzen custom 22 rifles. They both, Volkortzen and LaRue both sent me. I have one of the OBRs from the show. And then Scott Volkortzen hooked us up at Marksman Camp to have two that I fluted to let the kids duel with and whatnot.
Awesome.
And so those are my two favorites. I've taken the LaRue OBR 16-inch barrel out to 1,200 yards for a 308 gas gun.
Wow.
And so I love that gun. And that is still one of my favorites.
That's cool. I keep telling my wife that she needs to hook me up. She used to live in Carroll, Iowa, and knows, or at least at the time knew the Volkortzens. And so I keep telling her she needs to make some calls and hook me up for at least a tour. I don't know that I'll ever be able to buy anything from there, but I would love to go take a tour and get some stuff on video, whatever is at least permissible to be on video and post that up on the channel would be cool.
Some type notch stuff there.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, cool. Well, we will start signing off real quick here. We'll let you just kind of recap the things that you're still doing and the camps that you're part of, Dustin, and anything else that you want to mention that you're part of to try and draw some attention to them. Go ahead and run back through that list if you would for us real quick.
Yeah, my intro is kind of weak. Sorry, but yeah. So,
I can pull it up on the website and just read it off of here, but
oh yeah, I write the website stuff sometimes, so that's not good either. But, so yeah, if you're local-ish, summer kids camp would be Camp His Way, and so that's like traditional church camp, for kids ages 6 through 12. We'll have 11 weeks of summer, pretty much when the kids are out of school, we're doing camp. But then in the off season, we do several marksmanship camps, and so that's marksmancamp.com for kids ages 9 to 14 is one session, and then 14 and up is another, just because there's a big skill level difference between right around 14 years old. And so the marksmancamp.com will get you there. I'm doing a lot of YouTube stuff lately. I guess you shoot down a tree, your channel grows. So I would have done it earlier, I guess. And you just type in Dustin Ellermann on YouTube. The channel name is like Happy Camper 777 from like when I was like 13 years old or something. But we do fun stuff there, reviews and whatnot. But then I'm also the shooting editor for Texas Fish and Game Magazine. You can find that at fishgame.com or just go to topshotdustin.com, and it's all sort of outlined there. Facebook, I'm real active on Facebook. Instagram, a little bit. Twitter, I don't do Twitter, but I have it. So,
and I am actually throwing some links out here in the chat too,
cool.
just so people can find all those things.
And I am looking at an OBR right now.
Awesome.
Where can I finance one of these things?
Yeah, they got the Predatober and then the OBR.
Oh yeah, they got the interesting naming system on the rifles. Yeah,
the Surge. So I saw that at SHOT Show, and I'm like, okay, that's ugly. I don't like it. And then I actually, I got the videos on YouTube. We did an attempted meltdown with 1,000 rounds, just nonstop. We had 50, 20 round mags. We just went through them on a full auto. And I would wet the gas tube just because we didn't want the gas tube to fail. We wanted to see what the suppressor would do. This thing got actually quieter at the end. And the barrel was keyholing though. It was so hot, red hot. We had rounds cook off, and they were hitting the target 20 yards down range sideways. The bullets were hitting sideways. We let it cool for like 20 minutes, and then we shot a tighter group, sub 1 inch than we had started with. It was close to a 3/4 inch. I can't remember. It was like 0.9 or below. And I was like, after that, and no blowback on full auto with a suppressed rifle, I fell in love with that. So. I got to get me one of them. But
that's awesome.
That'll be a new primary.
That's very cool. All right. So go check out camphisway.com, marksmancamp.com, topshotdustin.com. If you want to support Dustin in any way financially, then send that to paypal.me/sandhillshooter, and I will get that over to Dustin. Just because we don't want the super chats to, we get about half of that, and it won't happen until sometime next year at the rate that we're getting money from Google. So we can pass that along. Or if you want to, send things directly, then you can contact Dustin at those websites and find out ways to send it directly to him too. Whatever works. But we do appreciate the support. Hey, Skip's out there. She joined us. Welcome. We're about done, Skip, but welcome for joining us out there. Travis, do you have anything that you want to wrap up with, or any last questions or comments for Dustin?
No, just Dustin, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. It's great to get to meet you, and I'm pretty sure I watched you back in season 3. I've been a big fan of that show. It's awesome to get to know you, and that's it. So appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Are you, again, put you on the spot a little bit, are you going to be able to make it to DC on November 2nd to the big rally?
Hell, not going to make that one.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'll be watching.
We do want to bring attention to that. So if you can get to the U.S. Capitol building on November 2nd, then I think it's a couple hours in the afternoon. There will be a Pro 2A rally. Check local laws. You cannot go armed. But if you can make it to DC, do so. If you can't make it, then help us spread the word to those who can. We want this to be a huge thing. We want to show America that we care and that we're not going to let our freedoms go. So check that out as well. Real quick here in the chat, and I will just go in reverse order since we had Skip joining us here towards the end. So we had Skip's Tactical Solutions, we had Dead Horse, Gabe Stark, Calaveras 32 Special, our California buddy that we were talking about did join us. Ghost Tactical, Midnight Range TM, Vanessa Kitty, Blue Steel 44, Idaho Rogers USMC, Mike. You know what day tomorrow is, Mike? Tacos and French Fries, John Z, Dangerous Freedom, 10X Shooters, Patriot in the Dark, Travis P11 doing double duty, General Relativity, Ozzy Osbourne, New York Outcast, Seven Wonders, Jay Brown, Blitz, Gun Loving Grandpa, and Mr. Pearl Necklaces. All righty. And, of course, we had Sandhills Sweetheart helping run the side chat there, the YouTube chat there, making sure that I didn't miss any questions. So I appreciate all of her help on all of these chats. These things don't go well on the night that she's not able to sit over here on the other side of the room with me. So for Travis P11, for Dustin Ellermann, Top Shot Season 3 winner, this has been the Get Off My Lawn podcast. This is episode 3 since we changed the name of the podcast. You can find us here most every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Central Time. If you're catching this on the replay, please go and check out the channel. Subscribe if you have not yet, and help spread the word. Feel free to share the heck out of this chat. If you made comments in the YouTube chat, thank you for letting us know you were here. If you want to make a comment down below, if you're watching on replay, go ahead and do that, and just mash that thumb up button. Let YouTube know that you care about chats like this one. Really helps us a lot as far as being able to be found in search results, things like that too. So we were, again, hosted by guntube.org on the GunTube Chamber. We did finally get that going. So we appreciate all of you. We could not do this without all of you. If you want to go check us out on patreon.com, go ahead and do that. If you want to subscribe to us on gunstreamer.com, go there. If you're on Facebook, facebook.com/sandhillshooter. We're not hard to find. It's the same channel name no matter where we go. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. We do love you, and don't forget to get off my lawn.
Bye, Felicia.